Marriage. It's one of the things that us girls dream about. And for some, it feels like it's their happily ever after. But actually, it's more of a new chapter in life. It involves waking up every morning with your best friend and the man or woman of your dreams. But there's also paying the bills, dealing with each other's personality differences, and it does involve some drama. And while I say these, you might ask, how can a marriage, one approved in God's standards, last for a lifetime? What does it take for the hubby and the wifey to love till death do they part? Let's talk about it as we dive into Ephesians 5:22 to 31. And if you stick till the end, I'll share a little testimony about my marriage with my husband of almost 10 years at this time of filming. So stay tuned. Hello friends and family. If it's our first time meeting, my name is Hannah and welcome to the channel. What does our passage say about marriage? I've broken it down into 3 parts, and with that, I have 3 reminders based on them. Let's read Ephesians 5:22 to 24. Wives, submit to your own husbands as to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands. First is, wives, submit to your husbands. Oh no, did I just say submit? Yes, I know that word is something a lot of us women are allergic to. The vocabulary implies that we just say yes dear all the time. But let's look at it from a different perspective. First of all, when you look back at verse 21, it says to submit to one another in reverence to Christ. So it talks about believers doing this to each other. Submission in this context doesn't talk about being inferior. My short explanation is that submission means putting away your thinking that you can work on your own to we can work as a team. We are one unit. I actually like how Pastor David Guzik said it, where he says it's a submission. It's working together. When a wife submits to her husband, it doesn't mean she's a lower being, but she recognizes his leadership in the home. And that's how God intended for it at the beginning. Just as a wife sees God's authority over her life, her husband would be the one in authority in their family. I recently found out that this is why women take their husband's last name after they get married. Though it's a legal matter, it's also actually biblical. It's an act of submission. Now it's the guy's turn. Let's go to the next passage, 25 to 30. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church, because we are members of his body. The next one is, husbands, love your wives. When I searched up what love in this context was, it was agape love, the type of love that involves a conscious choice to love. It's a mindset. It's not based on feelings alone because our feelings are unreliable. Our feelings change. But agape is constant and committed. And not just that. It says, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Now this is mind-blowing to me. A marriage is a model of how Christ's love is to the church. The husband has a great responsibility to his wife. And I'm not saying that the husband is the Christ of the wife. He looks at Christ's example. That's what it really means. The man's job is to be the leader in their household. He's not her boss or a tyrant. He's her protector. He takes care of her and gives unconditional love to her. God commands that we should love one another, but the husband is to show a special kind of love for his wife. Let's continue with the passage, 31 to 33. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound, and I am saying that it refers to Christ and the church. However, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. Here's the next point. Husband and wife, be one flesh. Once the wife submits and the husband loves her like Christ would, they'll become one flesh indeed. Marriage is not just an indication that you have a successful life, it's also more than a surfacey relationship. And it's also more than just a contract that you sign on your wedding day. You become one flesh with your spouse. Aside from your love for God, your primary role would now be to be your spouse's partner in life. All else is less in hierarchy. Verse 31 is a very important one for me and my husband. I remember back when we were about to get married. Because of my family's circumstances back then, my husband and I were planning to just move into where my first family was living. And the reason for that is so that we could still help out my family. But one day, a good wise friend from church, whom I consider our mentor and prayer warrior, talked to us one Sunday. And she told us that while she was praying for us, this verse came to her mind. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife. Right there and then, we realized that I think the Lord was telling us something through our friend. We had to have our own place. We looked for our own apartment to live in, and then we found one pretty quickly. And then when we got married, through our time when it was just me and my husband, we established that we were our own household. We made decisions as a couple without any outside influences. Now as we go to year 10, we are just amazed at how much we've grown through the things we've gone through. We've never would have imagined where we are now. We aren't perfect. We make mistakes, but we talk things over. We extend grace to each other. We don't lash out, but we try to always calmly communicate to fix things. We work together and make sacrifices. We try to be patient with each other's shortcomings. I submit even when I want to lead. And he shows love to me even when his logical mind wants to do something else. And it goes back to God's design, Christ's love for the church. When me and my husband remember Christ's love for us, we can't help but remember to keep him at the center, just like our officiating pastor said.
Remember, God promised you, I will never leave you, I will never forsake you. So keep Jesus Christ at the center of your marriage.
So I just want to say, it's true. Keep Jesus in the center of your relationship. We are only at year 10, and I've seen people make it to 50 years and beyond. And when I see their love, I see the love of Christ. So may we attain that in our own relationships. I hope this blessed you, and if it did, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps spread this message farther in the YouTube space. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss a video. Our hope and future is in Jesus. See you in the next video.